Hey everybody, it's Ben Casper, Guiding Your Mortgage. In this video, I'm going to talk about the one question right now that everybody is thinking to themselves, with rates about to hit 7%, is it really worth it right now? Based on home values and rates, those are the two things that drive payments, and those are the two things that you want to add up to make sure you're making a appropriate investment. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you what the current and historical data are showing and show you the actual math behind it. And just remember, this is a long-term investment, okay? You're not buying to then possibly sell in 5 months. You're buying to keep this for many years, right? Buy and hold. This is what the successful Wall Streeters do, and it's what you're going to do with the house. So again, what are you thinking about here? When you try and make this decision, you're thinking about two things for now and in the future, that's home values and rates. So let's tackle the first one, home prices. When you see those national headlines and doomsday articles, you got to remember that recessions are different from market to market. They're local, and they're going to affect different places differently. Boise, Idaho, home prices look pretty inflated right now. If you're thinking about buying in Austin, Texas, you're seeing a lot of price reductions before something's being sold. Now, the National Association of Realtors is saying that 60% of homes nationally need a price reduction to sell. However, in the DMV, that number is closer to about 15% per MLS data. And MLS is the multiple listing service. It's what all the real estate agents put properties in. It's what they mark your house as sold in, and then that data gets exported to all the home search sites that you see every night when you're looking at homes. But houses in the DMV are selling still at 100 to 101% of the listing price in the DMV, the DC metro market. Why is that happening? Well, the big story the last 2 years, housing inventory not being available, we are still having a shortage, okay? It's still putting upward pressure on home prices. All right, you're buying land here. Guys, they're not making any more of it, okay? We're not colonizing Mars or sending people to the moon yet. So we still only have a limited amount of turf on where to put houses on and for you to live nearby. So you got that. You got then household formations are still forming and rising every day. Whether it's a couple getting together and wanting to buy a house, or that couple having a baby, or their family growing, is what drives the actual need for a house. So there's that. And then home values and recessions. We still have a strong job market, but we're in a recession. So this chart will show you that 1 out of the last 9 recessions saw a drop in home prices, and that was due to straight up the housing market itself. That was due to bad mortgages being made, ninja loans, no income, no job, no asset proof required to purchase a home, just very loose underwriting standards. Some places were giving out loans that just didn't have any standards at all. And you'll see in this chart that only that recession in 2008 had home prices dip. The rest of these, you saw a softening, but it didn't drop. So then we've covered home prices. So the number 2 thing you're thinking about is interest rates. So what happens to interest rates in a recession? Well, history will show, and this graph will show you too, that rates either go up hard at the start of a recession or are already up and then come back down by the end. So in the past several decades, you'll see this chart. Here are the yellow shaded areas. You'll see at the beginning, the rate is higher, and at the end, it's lower. Basically what's going on here is the Federal Reserve, all right, they see inflation out of control and they want to curb it. They want to take that down so that your dollar goes farther and your standard of living can get back to increasing at a normal pace as it used to. Once inflation is controlled, rates are then lowered to stimulate growth again, for people to go back into the market and spend their money. So At that point, when rates are lowered, that's when you then refinance and take a lower interest rate. You come to me and you lock a new loan rate in. You can even do that without any closing costs. Okay, so that's really what happens with rates in a recession. They're going to climb up here a little bit more. Don't be surprised if we go to 7.5% or maybe even 8% by the time this is all over, before we hit that peak. Now, in the meantime, understand that you can still deduct mortgage interest off of your tax return at the end of the year. Just don't forget to watch my episode 42 of tax deductibility for that. Okay, so now let's get to the actual math. Let's look at a real life example of buying now versus waiting. Okay, so you buy a house in 2022. Let's say you buy that house at $375 purchase price with a 5% down payment. Okay, your down payment is $18,750. You got a loan amount of $356 behind it, and that results in a $2370 principal interest payment. Okay, so you bought. Now, eventually, we do expect this refinance wave to come. Let's say in 2024, you can refinance down to 5%. So in the meantime, while you had that house, while you were living in it for 2 years, the loan amount came down to $348,415. And now, when you refinance, if you do decide to finance in closing costs, let's say your loan amount is now $352. And at a 5% interest rate, that's a $1,889 principal interest payment. Okay, so your home value, in the meantime, has increased. Let's say on a conservative estimate, we got 2% home appreciation in 2022, 2023, and then up to the time you're going to refi in 24. And by the way, I'm going to put 2 links covering these home values even further at their end. One from Clear Value Tax and one from Dave Ramsey. Those guys both know what they're talking about. But with this home value up and you paying down the balance over a couple years, you now have equity of $38,150. That's awesome, okay? If you're then gonna buy the same house in 2024, that house is now worth $390,000 in change, okay? And this is for the people that waited. They didn't buy in 2022. In 2024, the same house they're gonna buy is now a little bit more expensive. The down payment is a bit more expensive. It's roughly the same as before. But that loan amount is now $370,000 in change, okay? And so that results in a principal interest payment of $1,989 a month. This is now more than the principal interest payment that you refinance to this 2024 year if you had then bought 2 years before in 2022. Okay, so you got a $100 higher payment, and that's for 30 years. You could multiply that by 360 and say, well, that cost me another $36,000 in the future. And then you look at now your equity stake in 2024, you only have $19,000 and change in equity because that's your down payment to start with, which means that, versus the person that bought in 2022, they now have $38,000 of equity, means you just lost 18 grand. And your home payment is higher by $100. So you can say, if you want to add those two things together, $100 a month extra for 360 payments and that $18,000 of lost equity means that it cost you $54,671 potentially, okay? If you buy now, you're going to secure the asset. You're going to ride the wave of home appreciation and tax deductibility and principal buy downs every month. So you're going to ride that wave up and let your net worth increase earlier if you buy now. Okay, and payments always rise over the long run, just like I talk about in episode 41. Okay, if you buy this year, you've got less competition to lock in now a less expensive payment for the future versus a few years down the road if you want to buy that same property to when rates come back down to 5%. Okay, so think about it. Guys, I want you to really think this one through. Do you want to be the one that buys now and gets rewarded for it? Or becomes the family or the couple or the buyer that, you know, decides they're going to wait and then pay more later. Okay? Timing the market rarely works. It is so difficult. All right? You don't want to wait to buy real estate. You want to buy real estate and wait. That is probably the most commonly heard phrase I've ever heard in this business. And it's almost always true. It is just proven time and time again by data, by history, by the stats. So the conclusion of this video, you probably should come out of this better if you buy now and refinance later than if you didn't buy now and instead buy later. And by the way, that only includes 2% appreciation based on those numbers, going from $375 to $390 of a purchase price. So that $18,000 in lost equity could be a lot more. I've seen some home appreciation stats over the next couple years. Some places they're a little higher, but then once the refinance wave comes, then those home values are going to see typical price growth again, just like you expect, just like in a healthy market when rates are lower and people then have more buying power. So guys, that's it. If you're talking to anybody, if you got any friends out there that are kind of worried about this, not really sure what to do, please share this with them. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you think there's something that maybe I didn't include or you want me to talk about, let me know too. Just fire away in the comments, and I hope you guys will continue to check out the rest of my videos. So thank you.